It's that time of year again when we gather to wassail. Now, you may have heard all of the wassailing songs and wondered, what the hell is all that about? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain it all. So click that like button, subscribe, ding that bell, and let's get on with the video. Now, there are two different types of wassailing, so which ones are we going to be talking about in this video? Well, both of them, which is nice. I'm actually going wassailing on Sunday, so in this video I'm going to start out by talking about what that side of things is, and then we can go into some of the other stuff and explain all about wassailing in general. So the one that I'm going to be starting with is Wassailing and Orchard, which I know sounds really bizarre, but bear with me, it's not quite as odd as it sounds. Wassailing and Orchard is a delightful English tradition that dates back literally hundreds of years. It's a unique blend of singing, merrymaking and blessing of an orchard for a bountiful harvest for the following year. And it involves sort of hailing the spirits of the apple trees. I know that sounds a bit odd. Rooted in ancient agricultural customs, this lively practice is normally carried out in the winter months, which adds a certain touch of festive spirit to the chilly air. Gathering wassailers. To kick off the jovial event, a group of jolly wassailers gather in a designated place. It might be a barn, it might be an orchard, it depends on the weather. But these wassailers assemble. They're clad in typical traditional attire, often. They also may involve Morris dancers, they may involve Christmas jumpers, that sort of thing nowadays, I guess. And they prepare to embark on a wassailing adventure through the orchard. So a spirited journey through the apple trees. Orchard blessing. So upon reaching the orchard, the wassailers gather around what they consider to be the oldest tree, or often the largest tree, which is normally considered the guardian of the orchard, if you like. Cider or ale is normally poured at the base of that tree as like an offering, almost, I guess it's kind of cannibalistic, but this is referred to as the wassail, and it's poured at the base of the tree as a symbolic offering for the year ahead and the bountiful harvest and all of that sort of stuff. Toasts are also made to the health and the prosperity of the orchard. And when I say toast, I don't necessarily mean that as the sort of the wedding toast. I mean that as sometimes literal toast. So bread that's been toasted and put in the apple tree. And I know that sounds a bit weird, but sometimes they soak bread in cider or apple juice and they literally lay it on top of the branches. And I know it's sounding even weirder now, isn't it? But it's accompanied by festive chants and traditional songs as well. So things like, oh, apple tree we hail thee, that sort of thing. And it's sounding more and more pagan, and I know it's getting weird, right? It gets weirder. Loud revelry. Now you'll like this bit. So the whole point of wassailing is that you make a lot of noise, not only to scare off evil spirits from the orchard, but also to wake the apple trees from their slumber so that they can start to produce these apples and produce a larger harvest in the months to come. Pots, pans, and anything that's capable of making a ruckus, an awful loud noise, is employed just to make a din, really. So if you want to bring your kids along to these wassail things, the kids will love it. You just smack the crap out of a saucepan and they'll just absolutely adore making lots of noise with permission. It's a lively endeavour, and the cacophony is believed to scare away these evil spirits, malevolent forces, and ensure that there's a fruitful growing season ahead. Sharing the wassail. As the wassailers revel in their spirited celebration, they also share the wassail itself, which is either an ale or a cider or something similar to that. Sometimes it's mulled, sometimes it's hot, and actually often it's quite warm, or warming, so it might have some sort of brandy or something like that in there to give that sort of warming feeling. So with the trees, they also pour the wassail into the roots, so it may not necessarily be like really high class liquor. It's often sort of homebrew cider and stuff like that, things that they've got a large quantity of. They put bread in the branches as well sometimes, and this act symbolises like the communal bond between humans and the apple trees, that they're both sharing in the same sort of feast. And it fosters a sense of unity between humans and the orchard in the hopes of a prosperous harvest in the year to come. Feasting and merriment. Post Wassailing, the festivities continue with a Wassailing feast, or a traditional communal feast. Participants enjoy food and drink and camaraderie, and it fosters that sort of sense of community that may be lacking, certainly at this sort of time of year. And it also helps the goodwill towards the orchard as well, because people are feeling good, people are liking each other and sharing stuff. And it's all that sort of festive joy that we're trying to impart into the apples when we're doing this. Symbolic customs. Wassailing isn't just a joyful festivity or activity, it's also a traditional custom of folk England, I guess. It's an interweaving between agricultural beliefs and spiritual beliefs. It's a ceremony that reflects the interweaving of the tradition with like an age-old connection between communities and the land that they live on, and that they're fostering and that they're caring for, and that also hopefully will care for them in return. It's a way of expressing both gratitude and hope for the coming year and the harvest that's yet to come. Wassailing, beyond just the orchard, is also tied to other sort of merrymaking and festivities and tradition and community in the wider sort of sense. So let's get on to the communal spirit side of things. That form of wassailing is often linked to Christmas and festivities and the holidays and all of that sort of stuff. So New Year celebrations where revellers go from house to house and they offer wassail or good spirits. Now the orchard wassail tends to be done on 12th night of Christmas, which is around about the 6th of January. Sometimes people say it's the 5th of January. There's a bit of speculation over that. I'm not going to get too fussed about it. I'm going on the 7th of January just to make things really weird. But the local or the community festivities are closer to the winter solstice of the 21st of December. So let's talk about caroling and well-wishing. Wassailing in this context often involves similar sorts of things, so people dressed in festive attire and going from door to door this time rather than going around the apple trees, and singing carols and spreading festive good cheer. So the word wassail is actually derived from the Old English or even Old Norse greeting "Vas heil," which means be well or good health to you, emphasizing that there's like a well-wishing nature to this tradition. So let's talk about the libations and the toasts. Now toasts as in, here's to you. I'm not really talking about that side of toasting. I'm talking about literal toast, and I've said this before. But similar to orchard wassailing, the act of sharing a drink is central to the form of celebration. Wassailers offer warm beverages and spiced or mulled mead or cider or wine, and it's a symbol of goodwill, and they're offering that to those people who they go from house to house and offer that sort of wassail, that kindness, and they're sharing this gift. It's very distinct from begging. It's not begging. This isn't like trick or treat. This is almost a shared activity, and everyone accepts it as that. Toasts are exchanged, both toasts in the form of drinking, but also in the form of literal toasts sometimes. So there's an old song that says, "Wassail, wassail, all over the town, our toastist is white, our ale it is brown." So they literally mention the toast and the ale. They also then say, "Our bowl it is made of a white maple tree," because they have something called a wassail bowl, where they pour all of this stuff into it and they share it and they drink from the same vessel. It's like a communal bowl. And it's a cherished part of the holidays in a lot of places within England, certainly in the rural areas where agriculture is more prevalent. Symbolic customs. Beyond the joyous singing and laughing and toasting and wassailing at people's homes carries symbolic significance and importance, and it reinforces the sense of community, both with neighbours coming together to share warmth and good wishes during the colder months, but also the act of wassailing symbolises the collective hope for joy and a prosperous new year. Continuation of time-honoured tradition. Wassailing in the context of carolling and well-wishing has a deep historical root, and it dates back to medieval times and has evolved over the centuries, but it continues to be a cherished part of the festive season for many parts and many communities within England. So let's talk about modern day wassailing. What exactly is that? In contemporary times, wassailing has taken on various forms, from organised carolling and events to impromptu gatherings among friends and neighbours. The essence of spreading joy and well wishes, though, remains constant, making wassailing a heartwarming tradition that transcends generations. In essence, though, wassailing goes beyond the orchard, encompassing a broader celebration of community, shared goodwill, and the festive spirit that defines the holiday season. As wassailers sing and share their warm libations, they not only carry out a centuries-old tradition, but also contribute to the enduring tapestry of the communal joy and connection that happens at this sort of time of year. So in conclusion, wassailing, I think, is awesome, and whether it's to friends, neighbours, or just the orchard, it is a cherished English tradition that weaves together history, folklore, and the spirit of celebration. And as the wassailers raise their voices and their glasses, they not only honour the orchard and the neighbourhood, but also they perpetuate a cultural legacy that embraces nature, community, and the anticipation of a fruitful future. So if you like this video, please click that like button, subscribe, ding that bell, and I'll see you again next time with some more magical awesomeness. But until next time, as always,
Play magical.
wassailers offer warm I can't say beverages.